Black Power, Black Power, Underground Warrior TV back with another video. This your first time coming in to Underground Warrior TV. Make sure you come in subscribing to my channel. Mash up the likes, share the video, press that notification button at the bottom down there so you always be in the crosshairs every time I drop one of these videos, one of these particular extraordinary videos that I always drop. I'm always dropping a video, always putting something on the people's mind, always fighting for the people. That's what I do, always banging on the beats. That's what Underground Warrior TV is all about, educating, putting our people on game, dropping that 411. That's what we do. We drop that 411, exposing this beast for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Peace and black power to the African family around the globe. No matter where we at, just know we one people. One people. Fam, I'm glad that I do my research when it comes to African history. It doesn't just stop in America. It didn't even start here in America when you start talking about the history of African people. Narrow-minded people in this country is not well-rounded when it comes to international news and what goes on in other countries. We only go off what the mainstream media feed us about other particular nations and countries abroad. We tend to believe everything that the mainstream media feeds us. So when I'm speaking on particular subjects as it deal with our mother country, which is Africa, the home of man and mankind, people seem to deem to not believe the things that you say. They just think you're anti-white, or you're anti-American, or you're anti-Europe, or you're anti-establishment. I am anti-establishment because the establishment that we live up under sucks the blood of the African, and they don't want black people to gain prosperity in this life. It's always keep the African on the bottom, keep the black man, woman, and child on the bottom of the total pole in every arena in life, in every sector, especially economic ladder. Okay. This is like music to my ears, fam, what I'm getting at. When I speak on Africa, and I know the reason why Africa is in the condition that she's in today, it's because of the European colonizers. The European colonizers. Like I said before, it's the European colonizers. It doesn't take a rocket science or mathematician to understand that the development countries, such as Africa, are caught in a snare of a devil. And it's like music to my ears, fam, when I hear someone from the Caucasian race expose the governments around the world that suck the blood from Africa. I want y'all to listen to this clip. I want y'all to watch this clip on this American economist at a environmental summit in 2021. I think his name is Jeffrey Sachs. And He speaks and tells the truth about the Neanderthal, the colonizer, the slave master, when he speaks on the Congo. These people got the audacity in this video to call this summit together in 2021. White people, the United Nations, met to try to stop the people from the Congo, Gabon, and one more, Guinea, New Guinea. These people want to come together to stop them from cutting down trees, mining, using the resources of the land to be able to create an economic base. White people meeting because they don't want the Congo to cut down trees that can stop and take out carbon dioxide that's emitted into the air. Africa got to be the country that keep these trees intact. They can't be cut down. They can't mine in forest areas as the Europeans trying to stop them, because these particular trees in the environment can stop carbon dioxide, clean the air. But who burned carbon dioxide? America and the Western nations. Europe, Great Britain, France, Germany, all of them burn carbon dioxide. So you need Africa to save the world when you cut down trees and put up skyscrapers. You burn carbon dioxide. You go up and mess up the ozone layer in the atmosphere, and you want Africa to save the world? Check this clip out.
This video presentation is used as fair use as a disclaimer for educational purpose only. All instrumental music is used as fair use for educational purpose only as a disclaimer.
Thank you very much. What we've been hearing is how the system actually works right now. And I want to emphasize we have a world food system. It's based on large multinational companies. It's based on private profits. It's based on a very, very low measure of international transfers to help poor people, sometimes none at all. It's based on extreme irresponsibility of powerful countries with regard to the environment. And it's based on a radical denial of rights of poor people, as we just heard. It's interesting, we heard from the Minister of DRC, what's wrong with your country? Well, we don't even start by saying the King of Belgium created a slave colony for 30 years. The government of Belgium ran the slave colony for another 40 years. The CIA assassinated your first popular leader, Mr. Lumumba, and then installed another dictatorship for the next 30 years. And then Glencore and others now suck out your cobalt without giving you tax income. We don't reflect on that. We say, what's wrong with you? Why don't you govern properly? And so we have a system, but we need a different system. We cannot turn this over to the private sector. We already did about 100 years ago. Not only to the private sector with the US military behind it, with the defense of these property rights in the Minister of Honduras's country, where United Fruit ran the country for a long time. And their attorney was the foreign minister of the United States, Secretary Dulles, and his brother was the head of the CIA. and overthrew the next door neighbor, Mr. Arbenz, to make sure that United Fruit could have its property. So we have a system, but we need a different system. And the different system has to be based on principles of human dignity in the Universal Declaration, principles of sovereignty, principles of economic rights, because these are not nice things to do. In 1948, all the government said that food is a right, social protection is a right, not a nice thing, not a pleasant thing, a right. That was 73 years ago. The SDGs are nothing more than our generation's attempt to honor the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I come from a country that not only doesn't care about the world's poor, it doesn't even care about its own poor. 1 in 7 Americans is hungry right now. And they don't care. I mean, the poor people care, but one political party, all it cares about is cutting taxes for the rich and filibustering any solution. So we're in a world that's really tough. The private sector is not going to solve this problem. I'm sorry to say to all of the private sector leaders, behave, pay your taxes, follow the rules. That's what you should do. And what the governments should do is the following. They won't, but they should. First, the G20 should become the G21 by inviting systemically the chairperson of the African Union and the African Union to be the 21st country. The European Union is a member of the G20 as the EU. If you add the AU as the 21st for the G21, you add 1.4 billion people to representation at that crucial event. That will change decisively the discussion, because 1.4 billion people are not at the table for finance right now, and they need to be. So my first recommendation is the G21. I love the G20. Add one seat, 1.4 billion people with the AU represented.
Hey, make sure y'all mash up the likes. Share this video. Yes, indeed, black people. Yes, indeed, black people. Now you heard what Jeffrey Sachs explained to black people and to the world. And the reason why I say black people, and this is the reason why I'm bringing this video, because black people, when we speak on Africa, we must put everything in its proper totality. Before we even get to speaking on Africa, we must speak on Africa present condition and why it's in its present condition and how we can overcome its present condition and put back Africa back on top like she was. You feel what I'm saying? When we speak on Africa's present condition, we must begin at the root of why some African countries are not stabilized. Not stabilized to deal with the pressures of that colonizer, that white colonizer. You see what I'm saying? We're going to need an all AU United African Front to deal with today's colonizer, because the colonizer of the past is the reason why the Congo is in its present condition that it's in today. You feel me? Let's go to 1885. I always go to the 1885 Berlin Conference, where this conference was to carve up Africa. Nothing but white European, white people met together from different nations, sat down at the table to divide Africa up, in which you see Africa now colonized by different people who shouldn't even be there. From 1885 to 1960s, the Congo was up under tremendous brutality from white people. Belgium established the Congo Free State by brutally seizing African land mass as its personal possession. Now the people of the Congo were forced into labor for the value of resources, including rubber, ivory, to personally enrich Leopold II, a so-called king from Belgium, was given this land in 1885 after the Berlin Conference. It is estimated that half of the Congo's population died from malnutrition and suffered from diseases and torture. Yes, family, King Leopold was a very brutal white individual. This dude had Africans killed, limbs amputated. You feel what I'm saying? Killed over 10 million Africans. How come we don't know this? How come the world do not know this history? We know that the so-called Jews, they say 6 million died. We don't know the actual estimate. But Leopold was more brutal than Hitler. Hitler's work looked like child play compared to Leopold II. How come Leopold II is not taught in school? 1961, we're going to fast forward because 1885 to 1960, the Belgians ruled the Congo and had the Congo in the condition that it is today. Killing Patrice Lumumba. We're going to get to that, how they killed Patrice Lumumba. As Jeffrey Sachs spoke the truth at this meeting. 1961, the American government, the CIA, conducted a series of fast peace covert action in the Congo. Their operation was to stabilize the government, because in 1960, the Congo supposedly have gained its independence. But you know how that go. They ousted the president and they put in Mobutu. You feel what I'm saying? If you know who Mobutu was in the 70s, he helped the Europeans and all white nations get rich off the backs of black people in the Congo, as it did from 1885 to 1960. So in 61, the CIA conducted a series of fast-paced covert action in the Congo. Launched missiles to denounce. They launched missiles and caused a war to denounce Patrice Lumumba. Patrice Lumumba was a statesman who wanted France and the Belgians totally out of the country, totally out of the business of the Congo people. So we got to go to the root of the problem. And that's what Jeffrey Sachs explains, the root of the problem. Leopold II killed tens of millions of people in the Congo. Chopped off arms, legs, amputated fingers. All because some people of the Congo wasn't working and didn't meet the quota of Leopold. Runaways were automatically killed in the Congo. If you didn't work fast enough for these Europeans, they would just cut your hands off. You feel what I'm saying? So, Jeffrey Sachs spoke the truth, just like music to my ears, because I have a lot of doubters when I speak on colonial rule in Africa. What's wrong with Africa? How come Africa can't get on her feet when she has all the resources that every man on earth wants? Every real economist knows as Africa goes, the Western nations go. This is why Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, all of these people are trying to make relations back with the Africans, but the Africans are pushing back. So what's wrong with Africa? Just like I said before, it is white Western, white supremacy that suppressed my people in the Congo. As long as white people are allowed to visit and make decisions in the Congo would never be a free state for black people until black people conduct its own business. Hey, mash up the lights. Y'all share this video. Tell me what y'all think below in the comments. Peace and black power.